Hello children, welcome you all in today's class. Before entering into today's session, let us discuss the answers of homework questions which was given in the previous classes. Okay, so look at R1, find a rational number between 1 by 4 and 1 by 2. Okay, so when we have to find a single rational number between two rational numbers given, we just have to add them. Okay, so add 1 by 4 and 1 by 2. What will you get? Here the LCM is 4, are 4, so 1 ones are 1, then 2 twos are 4, so 1 twos are 2. Okay, so the answer is 3 by 4. Okay, so after finding this one, we have to divide it by 2. Okay, we have to add them and we have to divide the result by 2. So that is 3 by 4 divided by 2, and that is nothing but 3 by 4 into 1 by 2. We have to take the reciprocal, so that is 3 by 8. Fine. So 3 by 8 lies between 1 by 4 and 1 by 2. So you will write therefore 3 by 8 lies between 1 by 2 and 1 by 4. Fine. Okay. Next one. Explain about difference between a parallelogram and a rhombus using properties along with the diagram. Okay. So now let us make two columns. One is for parallelogram, okay, and the other is for rhombus. Okay, the first property is for parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. Okay, and for rhombus, all sides are equal, like a square. Okay, all sides are equal. Okay, and for both parallelogram and rhombus, opposite angles are equal. Okay, remember, for both parallelogram and rhombus, opposite angles are equal. Okay, so you will write opposite angles are equal, and here also you will write opposite angles are equal. Okay, and then third one, diagonals of a parallelogram. Okay, so you all know this is a parallelogram, right? Okay, so here we have the diagonal like this, and diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. What do you mean by bisect? Bisect means they cut each other equally. So this diagonal cuts this one more diagonal equally into two parts, and this diagonal cuts the other diagonal equally into two parts. Okay, so here you will write diagonals bisect each other. Okay, that's all. And here, so this is a rhombus with all sides equal. Okay, and opposite angles equal. Here, like a square, you have all the sides are equal, but all angles are not equal, only opposite angles are equal. And here, diagonals do not bisect, but the diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So understood? Perpendicular means the first diagonal divides this next diagonal, that is, it is at 90 degree. Okay, this diagonal and this diagonal, and the angle between it is 90 degree. In the same way for all the four. So diagonals are perpendicular to each other. They are at 90 degrees. Is it clear? So this is how we will differentiate a parallelogram and a rhombus. Next is R3. Here we have to represent minus 7 by 2 on a number line. Okay, so just draw a number line, and here it is minus 7 by 2. So we have to leave more space on left hand side. Okay, so here draw 0, and here 1, here 2, like that. Okay, so here you will start from minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2, minus 2 by 2, and this is nothing but minus 1. Okay, yes or no? 2 and 2 will get cancelled and only minus 1 will be left out. then minus 3 by 2, minus 4 by 2, minus 5 by 2, minus 6 by 2, minus 7 by 2, and minus 8 by 2. Okay, so this is the thing that we need. Okay, and here it is minus 2. Okay, and here it is minus 3, and here it is minus 4. So is it clear for all of you? So minus 2 by 2 means 2 and 2 will get cancelled, only 1 will be left out. 4 by 2 means 4 and 2 will get cancelled, only 2 will be left out. For everywhere you have to place minus. 6 and 2 will get cancelled, 3 is remaining, 8 and 2 get cancelled, 4 is remaining. So this is how you will draw a number line and you will mark the number that is needed. Okay. Next thing, draw a convex and a concave polygon. So how to draw a convex polygon? Convex polygon means like a square, okay, or a rectangle. Okay, so here you have all the angles less than 180 degrees. Okay, so here all angles less than 180 degree. Okay, so this is a convex polygon. Okay, next is concave polygon. Okay, so here I can draw a picture like this. Okay, and here the angle is more than 90 degree. The angle is more than 180 degree. Okay, so other angles are acute angles, but either one of the angle is more than 180 degree also, it is known as concave polygon only. Okay, so here you can write one of the angle is more than 180 degrees. Clear? Next one, R5, the sum of 3 consecutive multiples of 11 is 363. Find these multiples. Okay, what do you mean by consecutive multiples? The next numbers, the next multiples like 11, 22, 33 like that. So they are the numbers that comes in 11 table one after the other, right? Multiples of 11. Okay, so let me take 11x, 11 into x plus 1 and 11 into x plus 2. Okay, that is 11 into the first number, 11 into the second number, that is x plus 1. If you add 1 to 1, you will get 2, right? In the same way, if you 11x and then 11 into x plus 1, then 11 into x plus 2. These are the consecutive multiples of 11. Let these be the consecutive multiples of 11. So according to the question, it is given 11x plus 11 into x plus 1 plus 11 into x plus 2 is equal to 363. That is 11x plus 11x plus 11 plus 11x plus 22 is equal to 363. Okay, and here you have 11x, 11x, 11x. That is 33x plus 11 plus 22. Again it is 33. Okay, equal to 363. And simply you will have only 33x. That is equal to 363 minus 33. Okay, and that is nothing but 33, 63. If you 363 and 33 if you subtract, what will you get? 330. So x is how much? X is equal to 330 divided by 33, and that is nothing but 10, sir. Okay, so this is 10. So therefore 11x is equal to 11 into 10, that is 110. Then 11 into x plus 1 is 11 into 10 plus 1 is how much? 11. That is 121. And 11 into x plus 2, that is 11 into 10 plus 2 is 12. that is 132. So 110, 121 and 132 are the required consecutive multiples of 11. So is it clear for all of you? Now let us look at the second question of exercise 5.2. So here in this question, 360 people were surveyed, okay, and among 360 people they voted for their favorite season, okay, like summer, rainy and winter. So they have tabulated the information. So look here, for summer 90 people voted, for rainy 120 people voted, and for winter 150 people voted. Okay, so now the questions are, which season got the most votes? So which season is that? Winter season. Okay, so write the answer, winter season. Fine. Next thing, find the central angle of each of the sector. So we have to find the central angle of each of the sector. Only then we can draw the pie chart. Because third question is draw a pie chart. Okay. So let us find the central angle. So first we will find it for summer. So how to find? So in the previous class I said you that you have to divide this one by 360. Okay. So 90 divided by 360 and you have to multiply it again with 360. Okay. So 360, 360 will get cancelled, only 90 degree will be the central angle for summer. Okay. Next for rainy, same thing, 120 divided by 360 into 360. Okay. So 360, 360 gets cancelled. Again you will get simply 120. Okay. Next thing is winter season. Okay. So for winter season, what is the central angle? We have 150 people voted for winter season. So 150 divided by total number of people is 360 into 360. Why 360? Because angle of a circle is 360. Okay. So 360 and 360 will get cancelled and you will get again 150 degrees as the central angle of winter season. Clear? You have to draw the pie chart. Okay. So for drawing a pie chart, the first thing is draw a circle with any radius. Okay. So first you will draw the radius. Okay. So what is the first central angle that we have? It is 90 degree. Okay. So mark 90 degree. You have to keep a protractor here and you have to mark. Since I don't have protractor, I'm just drawing it like this. Okay. Then from this line you have to mark 120. 120 is an obtuse angle, right? So it will be somewhere here. Okay. Is it clear? Next is 150. Okay. So if you measure this one, it will be 150. So this is 90 degree and this is representing people liking summer season. That is 90 people. Okay. And this is nearly 120 and this represents people liking rainy season, 120 people. Then this is 130 degrees and this is nothing but people liking winter season, that is 130 people. So is it clear for all of you? Children, listen here. This is your next question. Question number 4 from the same exercise. Here we are given with the pie chart. Okay. And central angles are given here. Okay. Actually this pie chart says the information about how many marks a student scored in a test out of 514 total mark. Okay. So look here, the question is, in which subject did the student score 105 marks? Okay, this we have to find the mark of each and every subject. Because we don't know the mark, we just know the central angle. Okay, so using this central angle, we will be finding the marks and then only we can say which subject he has scored 105. Okay, so let us start finding. So in Hindi, okay, he has scored, the angle is given as 70. Sorry, in Hindi the angle is given as 70. So you will have 70 divided by 360 into 540. Can you understand? Central angle divided by complete angle into total marks. Okay. So here you will have 360 and 540 cancelled. Okay. And here you will have 9 6 are 54 and 9 4s are 36. So 6 and 4 again it will get cancelled. 3 and 2. Okay. So here you have 70 into 3 divided by 2. Can you see only 70 is left out here, and here 3 and here 2. Okay, so 2 and 70 will get cancelled, and this is 35. Okay, so what is the mark here? 35 3s are 5 3s are 15, and 3 3s are 9 plus 1 10. So in Hindi only he has scored 105. Okay, now let us find for English. So this can be written as 55 into 3 by 2. Yes or no? See here, after cancelling 540 and 360, we got 3 by 2 only left out, no? So in the same way only we will be having 360 the denominator for everything, every central angle, and we will be multiplying it with 540 only. So commonly you can take it as into 3 by 2. Okay. Again I have to write 55 by 360 into 540. Instead of writing like that and again cancelling, I am directly writing it as 55 into 3 by 2. So clear? Next I can have this as 5 3s are 15. 5 3s are 15 plus 1 16. 165 divided by 2, and that is nothing but, so this is 82.5. Okay. So 105 marks in Hindi. Okay, and 82.5 marks in English. Next, in science, the mark is 80. So 80 divided by, so 80 into 3 by 2. Okay, and 2 and 80 will get cancelled, 40. So 40 into 3. Okay, so that is nothing but 120. Then you have for social science. Okay, and that is 65 into 3 by 2. So here you will have 5 3s are 15, 3 6 are 18 plus 1 19 divided by 2, and the answer will be 97.5. Okay, then you will have for max, the central angle is 90, so 90 into 3 by 2, again you will get cancelled, this will become 45. So 45 into 3 will give you 3 5s are 15, 3 4s are 12, 12 plus 1 13, 135. So in Hindi his mark is 105, in English his mark is 82.5, in science his mark is 120, and in social science it is 97.5, in maths it is 135. So at last you will write, therefore he scored 105 in Hindi. Fine. The next question is, how many more marks were obtained by the student in maths than in Hindi? Okay, so now we have to compare the marks obtained in maths and Hindi. Okay, so write marks obtained in maths is how much? It is 135. Okay, next, marks obtained in Hindi, so how much is that? It is 105. Okay, so what is the difference? You have to subtract 135 and 105, so the difference is 30 marks. Okay, so you will write, therefore he scored 30 marks more in maths than in Hindi. Clear? Okay, next one. Examine whether the sum of the marks obtained in social science and mathematics is more than that in science and Hindi. Okay, so here we have to compare science and mathematics, then science and Hindi. Okay, so write sum of marks in social science and maths. So that is nothing but social science it is 97.5 and maths it is 135. So 97.5 plus 135. Okay, so the answer is 232.5. Okay, and sum of marks scored in science and Hindi. Okay, so that is, what is the marks scored in science? It is 120 and in Hindi it is 105. Okay, so 120 plus 105, that is 225. Okay, so which is greater? This is greater, that is social science and maths is greater. Okay, therefore marks obtained in social science and maths is comparatively more. Okay, the sum of marks obtained in social science and maths is more than sum of marks obtained in science and Hindi. So instead of writing again science and Hindi, you can write comparing to this one, that is more. Okay, so question is the fifth question. Here this table represents the mother tongue, that is the language spoken by different children in a school. Okay, so here Hindi is, so here 40 children speak Hindi, 12 children speak English, 9 children speak Marathi, 7 children speak Tamil, 4 children speak Bengali, and the total number of students surveyed was 72. Okay, so we have to draw a pie chart for this. Okay, so for drawing a pie chart, the first thing we need is central angle. Okay, let us find the central angle for the given languages. Okay, so for Hindi, what will you do? 40 divided by 72 into 360, right? Yes, you have to divide the particular observation divided by total number of observation into 360, that is central angle, complete angle of the circle. Okay, so this will give you 72 and 360 will get cancelled. Okay, because 36 twos are 72. So here if you write 10, here you can write 2. Is it clear? So you will, so here you have 40 into 10. So what is 40 into 10? It is 400. Okay, so 400, and in the denominator you don't have anything except 2. So divided by 2, that is nothing but 200. Okay, so 200 degree. Next is English. For English it is 12. Okay, so 12 by 72 into 360. Okay, so here I can write again, I can write this as 10 2. Okay, so 12 into 10 is 120 divided by 2, that is nothing but 60 degree. Okay, next for Marathi, that is 9 by 72 into 360. So again cancel 2, 10. So 90 by that is nothing but 45 degrees. Okay, next is Tamil, and 7 children speak Tamil. 7 by 72 into 360. Okay, so cancel 10 and 2, that is 70 by 2, that is 35 degrees. Okay, next is Bengali. So you will have 4. Okay, so 4 by 72 into 360, that is nothing but 10, 2. So you will have 40 by 2, and that is nothing but 20 degrees. So is this clear for all of you? This is how you will find the central angle of each and every observation. Okay, so with these central angles you have to draw the pie chart. Okay, so when you add up everything you have to get 360. Just check it. 200 plus 60 is 260. 260 plus 45 is 305. 305 plus 35 is 340. 340 plus 20 is 360. So did you get the complete angle here? Yeah. So now draw the pie chart. Make a circle with any radius. Okay. Then draw the radius. Okay. Then you have to mark it for 200 degrees. So how will you mark it for 200 degrees? So to mark 200, you have to keep your protractor ulta like this. Okay, like this you have to keep it on this line. Okay, and the pointer should be here on this point, and the protractor should be ulta. And here some from this 0 count 20. So 20 will be here, no? So that is the 200. Okay, so that is 200. So is it clear? Okay, so the straight angle will be 180, and 20 more than 180 is 200. So that's why I am saying like that. Okay, so just you have to draw the angle by keeping the protractor ulta and make 20 degree. Okay, then it is 60 degree. Okay, so from here, okay, from here, so in this line keep the protractor, somewhere you will get 60. Okay, so like this. Okay, this is 60 degree. Okay, so this will be 200 degree, this will be 60 degree, then you have 45 degree. So 45 degree will be somewhere here. Okay, so 45. Next is 35. Everything use protractor. Since I don't have protractor, I am not measuring anything, but when you draw you have to keep the protractor properly, and you have to measure and draw from each and every line segment. Okay, so then it is 35 and then 20. So 35 will be somewhere here and 20 will be somewhere here. Okay, so this is 35 and this is 20. So is it clear? So after drawing and marking the angles, you can write for every sector, you can write. So this is for Hindi and this is for English, and this one for Marathi. Okay, and this one for Tamil, and this one is for Bengali. Okay, so is it clear? So whenever you are asked to draw a pie chart, first find the central angles, then using that central angles place the protractor. After draw, first make a circle with any radius, then keep the protractor, measure and point out each and every angle of the central angles, and then join it with the circle and then draw. And at last you have to mark it like this, you have to label it. Is it clear for all of you? Okay, just go through all the answers and make the changes if there is any changes. Okay, so now let us enter into today's session. So children, in today's class we will be solving one or two problems from exercise 5.3. So before entering into this exercise, it is very essential for us to learn about few terms. Okay, so look here, chance. So what is meant by chance? For example, you may say that there are chances for rain to come tomorrow. Okay, there are chances for relatives to come to my home tomorrow. There are chances that school may be a holiday tomorrow. Okay, so there may be chance, right? There are chances to get a new dress for my birthday, right? So that is known as chance. And chance, when referred in mathematical term, it is known as probability. Okay, so it is known as probability. Okay, so next one, random experiment. So what do you mean by random experiment? So an experiment, okay, for example, when you throw a die, okay, so when you throw a die, you may get 6 results. Okay, so you may get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 on the top of the die. Okay, the side die is having 6 sides and you may get any one on the top of a die. Yes or no? But you cannot predict which one will come. Yes or no? Yeah, you cannot be sure of anything. So such experiments are known as random experiment whose result is not known. Okay, and the result of each and every random experiment is known as outcome. Okay, for example, throwing a die is having 6 outcomes. The result is known as outcomes. Okay, next, equally likely outcomes. So what do you mean by equally likely outcomes? While throwing a die, each and every outcome is having same probability. So what is the probability of getting 1? So probability of getting 1 means the favorable outcome is only 1. Okay, but total number of outcomes is 6, right? So that is probability. 1 by 6 is the probability. You would have learned all these things in your lower classes. Okay, so equally likely outcomes means each and every outcome is having the same result, right? Each and every outcome is having the same probability. So such kind of outcomes are known as equally likely outcomes. So even if you write getting 2 on the top of a die, getting 3 on the top of a die, so each and every one is having 1 by 6 as its probability. Okay, next, event. So what do you mean by event? So I was just saying that probability of getting 1 on top of a die. Okay, so that getting 1 on top of a die is known as event. So out of the experiment, some favorable outcome that we need is known as event. Okay, okay, so for example, if you throw a coin, okay, if you toss a coin, you don't know whether head appears on the top or tail appears on the top. Okay, so here the event is, I am saying that getting a head on top of a coin. Okay, so that is known as event. So that event will have a favorable outcome and it is having some total number of outcome will also be there for that experiment. Okay, so the probability is number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of possible outcomes. Is it clear? So let us solve some problems from the exercise so that you will be getting a better idea. Okay, look here, exercise 5.3. In the first question, a spinning wheel is given here. Okay, and they are asking us what are the outcomes of this spinning wheel. Okay, so when you rotate this spinning wheel, the needle will point out somewhere and stop, but we don't know where it will stop. We cannot surely say that, right? So here the outcomes can be A, B, C or D. Okay, so if anything is repeated, so you need not write it once again. Okay, okay, so for writing outcomes, you need not write it once again. Okay, then it is outcomes of tossing 2 coins together. Okay, so when you toss 1 coin, you will get either head or tail. You cannot get both at same time, right? So for 1 coin, it is head, tail. So for 1 more coin, it is head, tail. So but if you toss both the coins together, that is what asked. Both the coins together tossed means you can either get head and head on both the coins. Okay, or you may get tail and tail on both the coins, or you may get head on one coin and tail on the other coin. Okay, or in the first coin it may be tail and in the second coin it may be head. So is it clear? So this is how you find the outcomes of an experiment. So these are known as experiments. Okay, and these are known as outcomes of the experiment. Is it clear? So this will be the next question that I am going to teach you from exercise 5.3. Okay, third question, here they are asking us the probability. Okay, so probability of the pointer stopping on D. So in the previous question, in the first question, we saw a pointer. Okay, we have a spinning wheel and we had a pointer in it. Okay, so here they are asking what is the probability that it will stop at D. Okay, so it may stop at A, B, C, D or this A. Okay, so if it is stopping at A, we have 2 favorable outcomes. Yes or no? Because 2 A's are here and the total number of outcomes is 5. Okay, 5 possible outcomes. So the probability will be 2 by 5. Okay, so consider for D. Here only one D is there and total number of possible outcomes is 5. Okay, so favorable outcome is only 1 and possible outcome is 5. So what is the probability then? 1 by 5. Is it clear? Only one D but total is 5. Is it clear? Okay. So next one is probability of getting an ace from a well shuffled deck of 52 cards. Okay. So this 52 cards we use for playing, right? Playing cards, that one. So in playing cards we have 4 symbols. Okay. So we have hearten. Okay. Then we have spade. Okay. Then we have clover. Okay, then we have diamond. Okay, so we have 4 shapes and in each and every shape we have 13 cards and in each and every shape we have an ace. Okay, so that is what is asked here. Probability of getting an ace from a well shuffled deck of 52 cards. Okay, so if in each group one ace is there, totally how many ace will be there? 4 ace, because we have 4 groups. So totally out of 52 playing cards, only 4 will be ace. So here the answer is 4 by 52. Is it clear? Next one, probability of getting a red apple. So here can you see the picture? Green, red, 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 green, red and green. Okay, so here what is asked is probability of getting a red apple. So here how many red apples are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 red apples. But totally how many apples are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 total outcomes, but favorable outcome is only 4. So the probability is 4 by 7. So is it clear? So this is how you will find the outcomes and then you will find the probability. Okay. So hope you all would have understood everything that is taught today. Okay. Keep learning. See the video once or twice. Okay. Thank you. Let us meet in the next class. Have a nice day.